This
नहीं
mucopolysaccharidosis.
सैक्रिडायोसिस खड़ोली थी
मैम का क्यों रहा है इसलिए मैम को चल रहा है लाइट नहीं ऑन करवा दी
Good morning, everyone. I request all the participants and judges to kindly check your audio sets and switch on your cameras, please.
Good morning, ma'am. Are we audible?
Yes, you're audible. Thank you so much. APS Nagrota.
Good morning, ma'am. Are we audible?
Yes, you're audible. Thank you so much. I request the judges also.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. I request Mrs. Reena Tripathi, please.
Hello.
Ma'am, kindly switch on your camera, please. Meanwhile, I request Mrs. Nazli Shah to kindly check the settings. Ma'am, I request you to switch on your camera, please.
Right. Am I audible?
Ma'am, you're audible, but I can't see you, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how to. I switch on the video, right?
Right, ma'am.
I have done that. It's not able, it's not taking it for some reason. I can't hear you now.
Ma'am, video icon is there, ma'am. You have to.
Yes, I'm pressing it. I'm pressing it, but it's not. Everything is fine here, but it's just not showing the.
Right.
What do I do? We leave it at that?
I request Mrs. Reena Tripathi to kindly join.
Yeah, I've joined. My net was not supporting
Much,
the
ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Zoom meeting. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I've joined. Now, can you see me? I've switched on my camera also.
Yes, ma'am. Nazli, ma'am, we request you to join again.
Okay.
Right, ma'am. We are waiting for one more judge, and after that, we'll start. There is some technical glitch in that. Thank you for your patience. No, ma'am, you're not audible, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Can you hear now?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you, but I can't see you, ma'am.
Yes, I don't know what is wrong with the thing. You saw me for a minute.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think I'm getting on my mobile.
Talent is a gift, but your attitude, ethics, and character are the things you have to develop yourself. A very good morning to esteemed judges, the worthy teachers, the enlightened speakers, and the lovely spectators. Today, we are gathered here in the galaxy of intellectuals where ethical values is the emerging need to pour in. An ethics bowl is both a collaborative event where teams of students analyze, discuss ethical dilemmas. I am sure this day will end up with some mind nurturing thoughts and discussions today. Indeed, it is a magnificent day. It's my pleasure and the first and foremost duty on behalf of the Secretary of the event, Principal APS Udhampur, Mr. Sanjeev Kumar, I, Indrapal Kaur, extend our warm greetings to the august gathering for the prestigious AWWA Northern Command Ethics Bowl 2024. I am sure this day is full of opportunities, eagerness, zeal, and a great learning for each one of us. We are here to showcase our inquisitive voices to reach to the zenith. I really extend my gratitude to Mrs. Asha Suchindra, Regional President, our Northern Command, who took her keen interest for the commencement of Ethics Bowl 2024. So without further delay, let's start with the proceeding. May I request all the juries to hold on the key of glory for today? We welcome you all on board. Please join me in welcoming all our respected dignitaries. Thank you so much for sparing few hours from their valuable time. Allow me to kindly acknowledge the presence of our esteemed juries for today, who have contributed dedicatedly a lot to society as well as to the nation. So first esteemed jury of the day is Mrs. Nazli Shah. Mrs. Nazli Shah is a passionate woman who is carrying many laurels gracefully. She has a great 11 years experience as teacher and 4.5 years at administration in education sector. Her traveling in different corners due to defense background has enriched her profession beautifully. She has tasted and lived in different cultures of the world, also that has added more charm to her personality. Her endless list of achievement itself is a remarkable academic introduction about her keen interest to learn every day. Ma'am is a state topper of Uttar Pradesh All India Essay Writing Competition organized by Aligarh University. Ma'am has also been awarded as Best District Principal Award presented by Science Olympiad Foundation, Andhra Pradesh. She has also worked in All India Radio. She has played pivotal role for the betterment of the society. Ma'am, we are gracious with your presence. Ma'am, I request you to kindly pour your words to enlighten these young orators.
Well, thank you so much for the lovely introduction. And it is really a privilege to attend this Ethic Bowl competition today. And I look forward to hearing the best from all the children, all the students who are going to participate, and wish everybody all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We wish you all the very best to achieve many more laurels in the journey of life ahead and keep inspiring us.
Thank you.
Next in the panel of judges, we have our second esteemed jury, Mrs. Reena Tripathi. Mrs. Reena Tripathi is the impactful and empowering woman. She has given n number of years for the betterment of society, especially when a person is in a natural calamities. She has been heading the disaster management department at the India Red Cross Society headquarters since 2012. She has handled more than 150 large and small scale disaster relief operations pan-India in past 11 years. With the background in writing and editing contribution towards the Strategic Development Plan and other documents published by IRCS. She has also represented IRCS in the first Asian Ministerial Conference for Disaster Risk Reduction. She also visited Manipur for an on-site assessment of the issues problem being faced and facilitated early release of relief, providing support to most impact, especially women and children. The work done and input provided were highly appreciated by the state administration and the governor of Manipur. Thank you, ma'am. We welcome you. Ma'am, I would like to request you to kindly boost the confidence of these budding orators with your words of wisdom.
Thanks a lot for inviting me to judge this very important event, as you are inculcating values and ethics in our coming generations and this generation itself, which is the need of the hour. And I wish all the participants all the best for their analysis, their study, their handling and solving of these problems, because at this juncture where our world is now environmentally and in every which way, we need our generations, young people, to understand the problems and also come up with the solutions of these problems, which are really threatening all the life forms on this planet. Thank you so much. And again, I wish all the best to all the participants, and hope that this event gives them a lot of clarity in the thought process and handling day-to-day problems and coming up with effective solutions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. We are overjoyed with your presence. Third in the row, we have our third esteemed jury, Mrs. Garima Goyal. Mrs. Garima Goyal is a dedicated, hardworking, and ambitious woman. She holds a remarkable academic profile. Under her able guidance, her school was acclaimed 5 times the best Air Force school among all the Air Force school pan-India. Her articles have been published in newspapers and school exhibitions for spreading awareness about sustainable development of the environment. She has got appreciation letters from management for outstanding contribution in organizing various events in school. She has also earned appreciation certificates and a medal for coordinating various competitive exams in school. She has been acting as a resource person of CBSE for conducting different workshops. She is also one of the member of CBSE affiliation committee. We welcome you, ma'am. Ma'am, would you like to share your inspiring words to our participants?
Yeah, thank you so much. And good morning to everyone. First of all, thank you for inviting me for judging this such a wonderful competition. And it is indeed my pleasure. And otherwise, I just want to say all the best to all the participants. It really takes a lot of guts to just recollect all your strength and take part in any competition. And these participants have reached to this stage. That means they are one step ahead of their peers. So my all the very best to all of them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. We are delighted with your presence today. Thank you so much, all the respected dignitaries, for enlightening their path and making them more confident. I welcome the timer judge for today, Mrs. Shreya Jambal.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. Wishing you all the best for dear participants. May the spirit of ethics guide our way. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request all the influential participants to kindly give their introduction one by one. Team APS Udhampur, you can start now.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Vaibhavi Thaplial, a presenter from Team APS Udhampur.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. I am Myra Mahajan, an 11th grader from Humanities stream, and I'm a presenter from Team APS Udhampur.
I'm a 12th grader and a presenter from Team APS Udhampur. Greetings to everyone. My name is Tejasvi Sharma. I'm a 10th grader and a researcher from APS Udhampur.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Nandini Nayak from 12th Medical, and I'm a researcher from APS Udhampur.
Thank you, Team APS Udhampur. All the very best. Now I request Team APS Nagrota kindly start introducing yourself.
Ma'am, are we audible?
Yes, you're.
Greetings, everyone. Today, I, Saransh, am from APS Nagrota and I'm a presenter of the team.
Good morning, everyone. I am Triona Sarkar and I am also a speaker from APS Nagrota.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Praguni Wazir and I'm a speaker of APS Nagrota.
Greetings, judges and all the fellow participators. I am Twisha Sarkar from 11th Science and I am a presenter in the team of APS Nagrota.
Greetings, everyone. I am Nikhil Garg from class 11 Science and I am a researcher of team APS Nagrota.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Ankit Singh. I am from class 11th Science and I am a researcher of APS Nagrota.
Thank you, both the teams. We wish you all the very best. May you rise up and seize the day with ethical values. Before we start the day 1, match 2 of our Northern Command Ethics Bowl 2024, I would like to take an opportunity to spin the wheel of fortune today to know which team will be the presenter and responder of the day. I request the judges to kindly note down the names of the team presenter and responder. So let's spin the wheel. So team APS Nagrota will be the presenter. Likewise, team APS Udhampur will be the respondent. It is mandatory for every competition to set up some rules so that we play fair in all terms. Rules are the foundations of change. They create boundaries that prevent you from feeling overwhelmed and guidelines to keep you on track. So with this statement in mind, let's clear the rules again. Though we have already shared the rules, still I'll repeat for your reference. Each team will be given 8 minutes to present, including answering the ethical questions put up by the moderator at the end of the case study. A reminder bell will be given after 6 minutes and final bell will be given after 8 minutes to sum up the case. After that, 1 marks will be deducted for every minute excluding the time limit. The other team will be given 3 to 4 minutes to confer and 5 minutes to comment. A bell will rung up at end of 5 minutes. The other team is also required to ask maximum 2 questions to the presenter team post their commentary. The presenter team will be given 3 to 4 minutes to confer and come back with their answers. No cross-questioning by the other team is allowed. The presenter team is required to answer the questions put up by the other team within 5 minutes. The team can decide whether all members will speak, only one member will speak. A reminder bell will be rung at the end of 5 minutes. After this, the judges will ask 1 question each. They are allowed to cross-question the presenter team members. The presenter team will get 3 to 4 minutes to confer and get back to their answers. Once the next team starts, the same format will be repeated again. I hope the rules are clear to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Discussions are always better than arguments because an argument is to find out what is right and discussion is to find out what is right. With this notion in mind, let's discuss some ethical issues today. So case study for team A, APS Nagrota, is generic medicines. Generic medicines are identical copies of brand name medicines with the same active ingredients, dosage, route of administration, and intended use. They are typically cheaper than their branded counterparts and are widely prescribed worldwide. However, there are some potential negative and positive aspects of generic medicines that need to be considered. On the positive side, generic medicines are cheaper and they have the same efficacy, safety, and quality as the branded ones. They increase affordability and access to medicines. particularly in developing countries where healthcare costs are major concern. On the negative side, there can be issues with quality control, such as inactive ingredients that may cause allergies or side effects. Additionally, there can be concerns about bioequivalence where the active ingredient concentration may differ from the branded products. So question for team APS Nagrota is, what are the potential risks associated with switching from a branded medication to generic one? How do healthcare providers ensure that the quality and bioequivalence of generic medicines are adequate? I hope the questions are clear to you. I request team APS Nagrota to start with their valuable discussion. I wish you all the best for your presentation, and please note the time given is 8 minutes and your time starts now. Team APS Nagrota, you're not audible.
Ma'am, are we audible now?
You're audible. All the very best.
Thank you, ma'am. The person who receives medicine has to recover twice, one from the disease and other from the medicine itself. With these words, we greet the intellectual panel of jury members as well as the team participating in this ethical contest with very humble obeisances. Being all ears when the case was being presented, we find that generic medicines are the counterpart of their identical personalities. They are manufactured in pharmaceutical industries and have various benefits. These can have in terms of active ingredients or in the terms of intended use. They provide various benefits whether to the richer section of the society or the poor section of the society as well. People generally prefer these type of medicine not in only in the terms of cost effectiveness, but in the terms of efficiency effectiveness as well, as these create a sense of understanding between the person and the medicine, gaining the trust between the person and himself as well. This ensures that there is competition as well as innovation in a country that remains consistent. Despite being of a very low cost, these medicines are produced in a very safe and secure environment, ensuring that the ingredients provide the same effect as that of their identical counterparts. This ensures that they are a reliable alternative as of their counterparts. This also ensures one thing, and that is there is no financial restraint on the people who are living in rural areas or in the low income regions, have nothing to fear about and get the treatment done in very low cost amount. Furthermore, to cite a recent case, during the pandemic of December 2019, COVID-19 took the lives of many, but finally saw its end when finally saw its end with the remdesivir. When the demands of remdesivir resurged in the markets, many manufacturers as well as pharmaceutical operations decided to manufacture this on a very low amount and a very low scale, so that the people who are living in rural areas who are not being able to save themselves from this disease are able to get proper treatment from this. This instance alone is enough to justify this ethical consideration. But to further elaborate, I would like to pass on this claim to my team.
Thank you so much. On top of what my fellow teammate just said, I would like to add generic medicines where affordability meets safety is trusted by healthcare worldwide. Generic medicines make essential treatments more accessible, especially in poorer countries. They are cheaper alternatives to brand name drugs, helping more people afford necessary medications. In 2018, a study published in the Journal of Managed Care and Specialty Pharmacy found that the use of generic medications instead of brand name drugs saved patients over $265 billion in healthcare costs in the United States alone. This significant financial impact underscores the practical preference for generic medicines in real life healthcare settings. Generics have proven that they work the same as brand name drugs, ensuring patient safety. While there are concerns about slight differences, overall, generics are affordable and safe options for many people. Pradhan Mantri Aushadhi is also a scheme taken by the government.
India, with its vast population and diverse healthcare facilities, faces a formidable challenge in providing accessible and affordable healthcare to all its citizens. In this context, generic medicines come in to rescue. They offer a cost-effective alternative to emphasize branded drugs, making essential medications accessible to millions of people who might otherwise be unable to purchase them if they were not provided with such facilities. The economic advantage of generics cannot be overstated. They help to alleviate the financial burden of both individuals and the healthcare system as a whole. Generic medicines are not only affordable, but they also adhere to stringent regulatory standards. Regulatory bodies, both national and international, ensure that these medications are just as effective as their branded counterparts. This bioequivalence, where generic medicines have the same therapeutic effect and the same time frame, provide us with non-negotiable the rigorous testing, and the original drug is by this I would like to pass the case study to my fellow teammates.
Thank you. I completely agree with all the points that you just said. But I would also like to add that access to safe and affordable medication is a fundamental human right. And generic medicines play a pivotal role in realizing this imperative. While they offer significant cost saving compared to the branded names, it is essential to also underscore the effectiveness and safety of them. Rigorous monitoring of factors like quality control and bioequivalence and inactive ingredients ensure their reliability. Healthcare provides through adherence to strict standards safeguards patients' well-being as well when they're prescribing these generic medicines. Patient education, including transparent information on safety and efficacy, empowers informed decision making. The introduction of generic HIV/AIDS medications in low and middle income countries exemplifies their transformative impact, expanding treatment access. By prioritizing patients' well-being and safety, healthcare providers have upholded the ethical principles as well. And with this, our case has seen an end. Thank you.
That's all from your side? Team API Rota, that's all from your side?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. I must say it was a wonderful stimulation of thoughts. The aim of argument or discussion should not be victory, but progress. So moving ahead, now Team B, you have 4 minutes to confer, after which you will present your summary and you will pose 1 or 2 questions to Team A. Kindly note that you have to pose both the questions together and your conferring time starts now. Your time is over now. Be ready to present your comments and kindly pose the questions to Team A. And the time given to you is 5 minutes. Your time starts now. Your voice is not audible.
Am I audible now?
No, not very clear.
Am I audible?
Not very clear. The voice is very low. You can switch to the other mic if you want.
Ma'am, am I audible now?
No, not really. You can switch to the other mic. Thank you.
Ma'am, am I audible now?
Very much clear now. Thank you so much.
Where there's a love for developing medicine, there's a greater love for humanity.
Again, you're not audible.
Ma'am, am I audible now?
Much better now. Thank you.
Right, ma'am. Thank you so much. Where there's a love for developing medicine, there's a greater love for humanity. A quote by Hippocrates that you and I both agree with. The opposition team, you have presented the case study very well and we agree with your stance. But we feel that you've overlooked a few cases in this case study that we would like to mention here.
Excuse me, ma'am. I want to interrupt in between. The voice is not very much clear, ma'am. This is from APS Nagruta, teacher in charge.
Mr. Munish, I'm Principal APS Udhampur this side.
Don't
I will request the previous mic can be switched off and another mic can be given to Erika. The mic she was initially having, I think that is in an on position. You switch off that mic and take another mic. Remove this mic, remove this mic.
Am I audible now?
Yes, now audible.
Right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. We'll start with our ma'am. Right, ma'am.
Permission, can we start with the time again, sir?
Yes, madam, you can restart the time.
Thank you so much, sir. And your time starts now.
Thank you, ma'am. Where there's a love for developing medicine, there's a greater love for humanity. A quote by Hippocrates that me and you would both agree with. The opposition team, you have presented the case study very well and we do appreciate your stance. We agree with your stance. But however, we feel that you have overlooked a few cases, a few problems in supporting the generic medications that would have been better if you had addressed it in your speeches. Firstly, therapeutic window. Even a minor change in dosage of drugs can lead to a large amount of toxicity. There is an issue that needs to be addressed while using generic medication. Profile side effects, which occurs due to the change in inactive ingredients, which can affect the person in use very greatly. And these are the problems that need to be addressed when a person is shifting from the branded medicines to a generic medicine. This has to be addressed, and that is how I would like to conclude my comment and pass it on to my next team member. Thank you so much. Thank you, opposition team. While I agree with most of the points put by you in your speeches, but I feel that you lagged some points. For example, you could have mentioned about various legalities that can be covered in this case, like the Drugs and Cosmetics Act of 1940 implemented by India. Secondly, you could have mentioned about the NLEM, National List of Essential Medicines. Alongside this, you didn't mention about various organizations like the FDA in USA and the EMA in Europe that ensure strict regulations are followed while making generic medicines, because FDA came across a case in 2018 where these generic medicines were switched with some obscene materials that led to deaths of various people in many countries. I believe if you would have added these points, that would have made your presentation a bit more concrete. Thank you. Passing it on to the next speaker.
Bioequivalent studies are sensitive to various factors such as study design, sample size, timing of drug administration, and analytical techniques used for pharmacokinetic analysis. Such major problems related to bioequivalence weren't mentioned in your speech, which can lead to serious problems. So, the first question I would like to pose is while generics undoubtedly improve medication affordability, could their lower cost structure create a disincentive for pharmaceutical companies to invest in R&D for entirely new drugs, particularly for niche diseases with limited patient population? If so, how can we ensure continued innovation alongside the benefits of generics? Thank you. Passing it on to the next speaker.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Team, for your views.
How generic medicines are safe and secure.
They maintain patient safety.
Yes, thank you.
You mentioned in your speeches how generic medicines are safe and secure. They ensure patient safety and they are safe options. So I would like to cite a few real life examples for you. First of all, do you all know that as a result of many issues with health and safety, several nations, including Ghana, Nigeria, and a number of European countries have refused to accept shipments of generic Indian medications for use by patients? And why is this so? I will tell you. In 2014, the National Bureau of Economic Research published a study revealing that nearly 10% of the Indian drugs it reviewed contained insufficient levels of active ingredients. These were alarming and life-threatening and had deadly effects of unresolved infections. Moreover, the shipment of these drugs to patients in Africa has further aggravated the continent's struggle. Closer to home, Indian drug giant like Ranbaxy paid $500 million in penalties and fines to the Department of Justice after admittedly shipping ineffective medications. So my next question to you is, what steps can regulatory bodies and pharmaceutical companies take to ensure consistent quality and safety of generic drugs? Because we all know that health is life. Thank you very much. That's all from our side.
I hope, Team A, you are clear with the questions.
Yes, ma'am. We are clear.
Okay, Team A, you have 4 minutes to prepare your answer, and after that, you will be given 5 minutes to present your answer. And your time starts now. Team A, now. Kindly present your answers and the time given is 5 minutes. Your time starts now.
Thank you, dear friends. We were readily expecting such a presentation from your side and also such counter questions. Well, to answer your first question, I would like to state a real life example. According to a Harvard study, the FDA allows a stamp of bioequivalence for their generic drugs. This means that the generic drugs must be equivalent to their brand name counterparts, and there can only be a 20% amount of wiggle room. But in actuality, we have seen that there is only a 4% difference between them. And this has actually been stated by Dr. Chaudhary, a doctor at Harvard University as well. Also, we can also expect some future collaborations between the brand names and generic drugs, which will adhere to the ethical problems of this situation. Passing on to the teammate. Talking about the downfall of branded companies, my dear friend, supporting generic medicines is not a matter of economics about profits or losses. It's a matter of equity and justice. By ensuring that life-saving drugs are affordable and accessible, we uphold the principle that healthcare is a fundamental right and not a mere privilege. The availability of generic medicines in India has saved countless lives and improved the quality of healthcare across the nation. It has allowed us to tackle diseases more effectively and ensure that treatment is within reach for all segments of society. India is a country where more than half of the population suffers from poverty, and their main source of medication is from generic medications. Then I would pass on the case to my fellow teammate.
I agree with your point. I would also like to state that AstraZeneca, which was a brand name drug, was facing backlash recently. But Bharat Biotech's COVID vaccine did not face backlash. Also, in India, doctors are often corrupt and they give patients brand name medicines in order to exploit them. Also, in the US, people generally prefer generic medicines in order to save their costs.
Now, to conclude this answer, generic medicines are not always available to every one of us. Facing the threats, the various regulatory bodies are taking strict actions towards the materials which are involved in these generic medicines. This ensures that safety is ensured for every single one of the person, even in the rural areas as well as the urban people who are enjoying many luxuries. Thank you for this question.
Team A, are you done with your presentation?
Yes, ma'am,
Yes,
we are
ma'am.
done.
I must say it was a wonderful deliberation of thoughts. Now I request the jury one, Mrs. Nazli Shah, to pose the question to Team A.
Oh, so okay, so team A, that was very well presented, but I have a little differing opinion on this. So one of you mentioned that doctors are often corrupt in India. So that's a very general statement, and it's very contradictory to what you are saying. That generic medicines and doctors are very good, and then you say this that doctors are often corrupt in India. So I would like you to explain that first. And the second question I would like to ask you that we are known as the mantle or of the pharmacy of the world. But did you know that recently some eye drops and some cough medicines from India were sent abroad, and the children basically all under the age of 5 suffered greatly, and I presume that they were generic medicines. What do you say about that? Are we willing to risk the lives of everybody for the sake of these generic drugs just because they are slightly less in cost? My question to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Are you ready, Team A? You will be given 4 minutes to confer, and after that, you're supposed to present your answer. And your conferring time starts now. Team A, your time is up now. Kindly present your answer.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Thank you, ma'am, for your question. I would like to answer that it was a general presumption. Like all coins have both sides, and it is human nature to be greedy. Doctors often become corrupt due to money. We can also see that in the recent case about the Posh accident, that the blood samples were changed just because the boy belonged to a wealthy family. I would like to pass on this answer to my fellow teammate.
Yes, I agree with your points, and I would also like to add that there is always a major and broader scope of improvement because, after all, we are humans and we always learn from our mistakes. We should always check for a mark of authenticity when we are using such medicines. But we must always remember that branded medicines do have side effects, such as the Benadryl medicine, which is used for treating allergies. It has side effects of dry mouth, constipation, and even drowsiness. Thus, we cannot simply focus on the negative impacts of the medicine, but also on the broader and more positive impact. This also caters to the well-being of and the financial conditions of all. Passing it on to my teammate.
Respected ma'am, to conclude this case concerning medical fields, the Indian organization and various others are certain to address this situation. The generic medicines are not always the ones causing the side effects. Considering even our brand name medicines, side effects are still the same. To give an instance, Benadryl, Lipitor, and Humira are some of the which cause controversies again and again in the country due to their side effects which are faced by the people. But the scope of improvement can be made to these medicines in our country. Thank you, ma'am.
Very well answered, team A. Now I request jury 2, Mrs. Reena Tripathi, to kindly pose the question to team A.
Yeah, very well brought out points, Dimi. I congratulate you for that. I just wanted to ask you a question that what factors should consumers consider to ensure the safety of generic medicines compared to branded counterparts? Should I repeat it? What factors should consumers consider to ensure the safety of generic medicines compared to the branded counterparts, because that would be a part of solution. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Team A, are you ready? You will be given 4 minutes to confer, and after that, you're requested to present your answers. Your time starts now. Your time is up. Be ready to present your answers.
Yes, ma'am. To address this question, respected ma'am, we are of this notion that generic medicines are safe to a certain extent, but to further maintain our safety as well as of the ones who are purchasing these to ensure safety, bioequivalence, active ingredients, manufacturing, safety and efficacy, packaging, prescription should be checked equally. It is noticed that only in very rare scenarios these are having adverse reactions to the people who are using them. Safety has to be everyone's responsibilities. Everyone needs to know that they are empowered to speak if there is any issue. Passing on to my team.
I firmly agree. And I would like to state that general medication are also promoted by government, like the Pradhan Mantri Jan Aushadhi, and are also gaining importance. It is all cost is also a major factor, and concentration should also be checked. Verify that the general medication is bioequivalent to its brand name counterpart, which means that it behaves in the same manner. I would like to pass it on to my fellow teammate.
I believe that generic medicines are already considered appropriate for usage. These are equivalent to the brand formulation if they have the same active substance, the pharmaceutical form, and the same therapeutic indication, a similar bioequivalence respect to the medication. Now I would like to pass the answer to my fellow teammate.
Yes, I do agree with you. And I would also like to add that to a level, generic drugs are safe. And that is why they're readily being used by consumers at this stage. Healthcare providers also ensure transparent information of efficacy and safety with consumers to make informed decisions. There should always be a check for a mark of authenticity and bioequivalency stamp from the FDA. Also, amount of dosage should be checked so that the dependence does not develop. And with this, I would like to conclude our answer. Thank you.
I must say it was a thought-provoking answer. Mrs. Riya Tripathi, ma'am, if you have any query, you can still ask the team.
No, I'm quite satisfied with the answer. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Jury 3, Mrs. Garima Goyal, to kindly pose your question.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations to APS Nagrota for such a enlightening presentation. Before I just ask my question, APS Nagrota started in favor of the generic medicines. They said, gave their complete presentation in favor of generic medicines, and it shows that okay, they are firm believer of this, that a society should use these medicines more than the branded ones. But still, there are a lot of myths in the society, and people do not actually use these generic medicines as they are using the branded ones. There is a myth that these generic medicines have longer, I mean, they take long time to act in the body as compared to the branded ones. Doctors are still not recommending these generic medicines. This was actually told by the opponent team also, and plus Nagrota team also said it in the later part of their presentation. Okay, so my question is to APS Nagrota, if you are such a firm believer that of generic medicines, what measures you would have taken to remove these myths from the society about generic medicines? Okay, if suppose you are such a firm believer and still people are not using, there are so many myths in the society about these medicines, then what action or what measures you can take to remove these myths from the society? Thank you so much.
Team, are you ready to answer? You will be given 4 minutes to confer, and after that you have to present your answer. And your conferring time starts now. Your time is up now. Kindly present your answers.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your question. It's not about being a firm believer, ma'am. We have to adapt to changes coming in society. As we already stated earlier, that not everyone is privileged enough to afford branded medicines. We are not against branded medicines. We believe that change is a law of nature and we must adapt to it, as stated by Charles Darwin in The Theory of Survival of the Fittest. Now, I would like to pass on the answer to my fellow teammate.
Yes, respected ma'am. Change is the law of nature, and to adapt to this change is the one's goal. Education campaigns, seminars, whether offline or online, social media, collaboration with people, and media engagements can be done so as to ensure that these myths are being eroded from our society. People should be given the appropriate knowledge of this everything and the ingredients and the substances they consume so that these myths are prevented from entering the brains of our people.
Yes, I strongly believe with your point. And I would also like to add that in order to evade such myths and misconceptions, there could be awareness drive, health checkups regarding these generic drugs. Healthcare providers could also engage in such activities, and there could also be training programs. The FDA and EMA could provide clear information regarding these drugs and could also launch fact sheets and FAQs answering the questions of many worried minds. Yes. Furthermore, we must think about people below the poverty line and the access of medication to these poorer communities. But people are following the mob mentality and giving importance to brand name drugs. We must also remember that doctors prescribe brand name medicines but also mention the salt composition, which is related to general medication. Thank you.
Thank you, Team A. I request Garima ma'am to kindly ask for the query.
No. I'm satisfied with the answer, and good research has been done by the students.
I
Thank you so much.
request Nazli ma'am, if you have any query, you can still ask.
No, it's all right. It's fine. The children have prepared well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Team A and the respected judges. That was an insightful deliberation of thoughts. Ethics is knowing the difference between what you have right to do and what is right to do. Team B, hold your seats. It's time for you to present your inquisitive thoughts for the next ethical case study. Round 2 begins. And the case study for Team APS Udhampur is battle between IQ and EQ. In today's fast-paced and competitive world, intelligence question is often considered a measure of a person's success and respect. On the other hand, emotional quotient, which is equally important trait, is often overlooked. However, the importance of EQ is gaining traction in recent days. John, a brilliant scientist, had a high IQ and was regarded as a genius in his field. He was respected and admired for his contribution to science, and his research helped to solve some of the world's most challenging problems. However, despite his high IQ, John struggled harmoniously with others. He often becomes impatient and frustrated with his colleagues. His colleagues too find it challenging to work with him. In contrast, Sarah, a business leader, possessed high EQ. She was an empathetic listener, understood the need of not only colleagues and employees, and could communicate effectively. Sarah was not only respected for her intelligence, but was also regarded as a person who was easy to work with. Her leadership skills enabled her to build strong relationships with her employees and customers, which helped to create a positive work environment and a successful business. So, question for Team APS Udhampur: is EQ more important than IQ or the converse? Can EQ be an overweighing factor over IQ in select positions or jobs? I hope the questions are clear to you, Team B. And the rules are same. You will be given 8 minutes to present your valuable thoughts. Team B, your time starts now.
Ma'am, are we audible?
Yes, very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, shall we start?
Yes.
Through intellect and empathy, our paths are intertwined. Balancing mind and heart is where true wisdom we find. Ladies and gentlemen, Cor Sapientia, the heart of wisdom, sets the tone for our journey today. In the realm of human potential, we weigh two vital attributes: intelligence quotient and emotional quotient. Consider John, a brilliant scientist whose high IQ was often overshadowed by his struggle to connect with those around him, creating barriers where bridges were needed. In contrast, Sarah, a leader with high EQ, used empathy and effective communication to achieve success and build strong relationships. Is EQ more important than IQ or vice versa? While IQ is crucial for solving complex problems, EQ is essential in fostering relationships and managing emotions. It is not a matter of one surpassing the other, but the interplay of both that leads to true fulfillment. Our stance values the roles of both IQ and EQ. As the Roman philosopher Seneca said, we learn not for school but for life. Cognitive abilities lead to achievements, while emotional intelligence enriches our interactions and builds a cohesive society. I would like to end by saying, in harmony of intellect and empathy lies the essence of true fulfillment. Thank you. Passing it on to the next speaker.
Thank you. The fusion of empathy and business is where true magic happens. From Theodore Roosevelt's timeless wisdom of nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care, to the Companies Act of 2013 and the Equality Act of 2010. EQ does not overpower IQ in the field of hiring jobs. Each underscores the transformative power of empathy in the corporate world. In the grand theater of business, empathy takes center stage, reminding us that success is not solely measured in profits, but in purposeful connections. Companies like Amazon and Microsoft, ladies and gentlemen, exemplify how emotional intelligence fuels innovation and fosters customer centricity, paving the way for sustained growth and relevance in a rapidly evolving market landscape. Howard Klut's journey, for example, with Starbucks serves as a beacon, showcasing how caring for employees and customers can not only drive success, but also redefine the very fabric of corporate culture. Alongside this, the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act of Children 2015 focuses on the rehabilitation and reintegration of children in conflict with law, emphasizing care, protection, and emotional support. It highlights the importance of understanding the emotional and psychological needs of children because, just as Maya Angelou said, and I quote, it's not just what you do, but how you do that makes people feel truly mattered. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of EQ. Thank you. Passing it on to the next speaker.
You're not audible.
Ma'am, it is
They are
not
not
audible.
audible, ma'am.
You're not audible. Use another mic, please.
Am I audible?
It's very much clear. Thank you.
Yes. Well, I would request you to reset the time. So, actually, being human is seeing with the eyes of another, listening with the ears of another, and feeling the heart of another. Beautifully said by Alfred Adler. Ladies and gentlemen, picture a teacher not just imparting knowledge and teaching, but instilling confidence and belief in a struggling student, igniting a spark of hope that lights their path to success. Picture a nurse, a doctor holding the hand of a dying patient, offering not just medical care, but comfort, solace, and dignity in their final moments. Satya Nadella, everyone, a very inspiring man and Microsoft CEO, when took the helm at Microsoft in 2014, his focus was clear. EQ trumps IQ. He emphasized the often understated value of emotions his whole life. His philosophy resonates with us very profoundly.
The belief that without being a source of energy for others, very little can be accomplished. We often tend to forget that we are not robots. We should not live our lives mechanically, subconsciously programmed to follow a path without reflection, without questioning it. Because while doing so, we lose the essence of being truly alive. You all must have heard the famous dialogue from Three Idiots. Life is a race. If you don't run fast, someone will trample you and move ahead. But is life really meant to be a race? In this rush to keep up, aren't we forgetting to truly live? We keep on overlooking the beauty of emotions, the depth of empathy, the richness of our human connections. We keep on running in this race, leaving the essence of our emotions behind. In this case, constantly undermining EQ and leading our life focusing on IQ and slowly moving way ahead of the only thing that makes us human. I believe the heart of the matter is that while, yes, IQ opens doors, but it is actually EQ that builds the bridges. It is EQ that fosters true connection, understanding, and collaboration. In a world where we are increasingly isolated by screens, divided by ideologies, the ability to empathize, to listen, and to connect is more crucial than ever. Remember, and I quote, while IQ may help you reach the top, it is EQ that keeps you there. Thank you. Over to you, Erica.
Erika, your voice is not audible. Switch on to the other mic.
There's a beautiful Kashmiri proverb that says, Dilas Mahet, Zinda Sas Mahet. Alive in the heart, alive in the world. This proverb highlights the enduring nature of emotions and memories, suggesting that what is cherished in the heart continues to live on in this world. Ladies and gentlemen, in today's fast paced and competitive world, we often celebrate the brilliance of the mind, the soaring IQs that drive technological advancements and scientific breakthroughs, but including emotional quotient, that is EQ, in a work environment is as crucial for creating a positive and productive atmosphere where employees feel valued, understood, and motivated. Some strategies to foster EQ in the workplace are leading by example, often training programs and workshops focused on emotional intelligence, encouraging open communication, and promoting empathy and understanding. By implementing these strategies, organizations can create a work environment that fosters emotional intelligence, promotes positive relationships, and supports the well being and success of employees. After all, human emotions are the palette of life, painting vivid hues upon the canvas of our existence. From the gentle brushstrokes of love to the fiery intensity of passion, each emotion adds depth and richness to our shared humanity, ladies and gentlemen. That is how we would like to conclude our side. Thank you.
Ma'am, you were not audible. Could you please repeat again?
4 minutes to confer, after which you will present your summary and pose one or two questions to Team B. Kindly note that you have to pose both the questions together and your time starts now. Team APS Nagrota, the fourth participant, I request you to come in the frame. Thank you so much. Team A, your time is up now.
Dear friends, we have clearly listened to your presentation and have understood it well. Even though your presentation was sufficient, but one could see the presence of lacking of some points. First and foremost, we agree with you on the fact that EQ is essential for everything nowadays, whether leadership or any business role. But now a question arises, is emotion sufficient? Considering the case of an army personnel, would he be showing empathy to an intruder who is causing a ruckus in the country? Or considering the case of a patient who is quarantined for 14 days, would the members show emotion and visit him while having no sense of security and leaving their IQ behind? Passing on to my team.
Yes, I agree. But on top of that, I would like to state that you mentioned life is not a race, but taking into consideration competitive exam and the competitive world today and competitive exams like CUET, JEE, NEET, etc. Life is a race. Also, we can take the example of the recent Bollywood movie 12th Fail that showcased how life is full of challenges and how the poor boy had to face multiple challenges to go to be and become something in life.
Yes. And one of your speakers mentioned that the profession of doctors requires EQ over IQ. Well, it is very ironical to me because if a doctor lets his emotions take over him, then there'd be immense consequences. So imagine you're a doctor engaged in some sort of surgery. The surgeon might empathize with the patient and might not want to do anything with his body, thinking that it may hurt him. So do you still believe that in the medical field, EQ surpasses IQ?
Yes, and I would also like to add that humans have evolved due to their intelligence itself. In this fast paced world, we have to keep up or we will be left behind. Only then will we be able to live our life to the fullest. Ethical considerations further underscore the importance of valuing both IQ and EQ in today's society. And then we also know the cases of many scientists such as AWWA and Galileo who faced much opposition in their time. They could have let their emotions take the better of them, but they did not. They stood straight with their IQ, and that is why they're so renowned in these days. Now, I would like to put forth the questions. In positions where teamwork and communication are vital, such as leadership roles, how can the ethical significance of cognitive intelligence be justified over the interpersonal skills that ensure a collaborative and supportive work environment? And the other one is what evidence exists to show that focusing on EQ leads to sustainable performance improvements? Thank you.
Your side? That's all from your side? And participants, you are not requested, you are requested not to use the mobile phones. Only the researchers will use the mobile phone. Otherwise, your marks will be deducted.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I hope Team B, the questions are clear to you. So now you have 4 minutes to confer and 5 minutes to present your answer. And your conferring time starts now. Team B, your time is over now. Kindly present your answers and your time starts now.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank you, dear opposition team, for your wonderful insight on this matter. But you mentioned that if a doctor fosters empathy while treating his patients, he won't be able to operate well. I find that very ironical because, as you would know, that to become a doctor, first of all, a person needs a higher level of IQ. Without IQ, person cannot become a doctor. And by what we meant when we say that doctors also need empathy is when after care treatment, when a person may be suffering through cancer, they need care, they need treatment. The nurses also, they help people, especially the people in the nursing homes. They need a lot of care. That is where we bring this into role, EQ, empathy. And that is what we meant when we said that doctors also need to foster empathy in that. People who invest financially want a refund, but people who invest emotionally want to contribute. Here, I would also like to quote an example from a mythology from China. Sun Wukong, a monkey king, he was a person who was very naughty and who was very arrogant as well. But he possessed a high level of EQ and IQ as well. Emotional question was when he developed a feeling of care with his Zhuangzang, his fellow monk, when he had to face a lot of problems. And IQ was when he had to face a lot of problems, the bull king that he had to face. So this shows a balanced approach between EQ and IQ, the importance of it, and how we have incorporated that into our speeches that we mentioned before you. Thank you. That's all from my side. Now passing it on to my next team member.
Thank you very much, Janet. And thank you, dear audience, for your
You're not audible, Ananya.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, dear audience, for your opinions and views. And I would like to address how you meant personals and how would they be doing their duty if they show empathy. So I would like to remind you all of the times when our mighty soldiers of our country, took in the martyred soldiers of the enemy countries and buried them with respect to their religion. I would like to remind you all of this brave thing that our martyred soldiers did. This was when the empathy came in. This was our brave representation of our compassion and the values that our country, that our martyrs hold. We never in our speech even ever said that EQ should overpower IQ. We always mentioned that both should be there, both need to complement each other. Both are really beautiful and very needed in one's life. As Plato said, the highest form of knowledge is empathy, for it requires us to suspend our egos and live in another's world. As you also mentioned, doctors. I never said that IQ was not needed because we know that without having an IQ, no one can become a doctor. Also, Dr. Patch Adams, a real life doctor, whose approach was to be patient, revolutionized the medical field by integrating empathy and humor into treatment. He quoted, and I would like to tell you, you treat a disease, you win, you lose. You treat a person, I guarantee you, you will win no matter the outcome. Passing it on to the next teammate. Thank you so much. To answer your first question, NEP states to focus on children and their emotional development. There are exams like Parak in which their EQ is measured through peers and their teachers. Secondly, USA and UK promote social and emotional learning programs in their academics. I would like to quote that the high IQ might land you in a job, but the lack of EQ might get you fired. And as I mentioned in my speech, companies like Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Google, etc., tend to find more empathetic people because it includes understanding the needs of people. Thank you. Passing it on to the next speaker. I would like to conclude our presentation by saying, minds of a genius IQ's embrace, but hearts of gold EQ's gentle grace. Together they weave a tapestry rare, where intellect and empathy share. Thank you. That's all from our side.
Very well articulation of thoughts. Now I request the panel of judges to pose their question. I request jury one, Mrs. Nazli Shamam, to kindly pose your question.
Very well spoken by the students of APS Udhampur. Now, I would like to ask you a question that when a company comes to hire you, obviously they're looking for IQ and also EQ. Now, IQ is very in your face because of the exams that you write. In an interview, when you are called, how will you ensure that your EQ comes out and is visible to the people asking questions?
Thank you, ma'am. Team B, rules are same. You will get 4 minutes to confer, and after that, you're requested to present your answers. And your conferring time starts now. Aditi, time is up. I request you to present your answers, please.
Thank you so much. Am I audible enough?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're not audible. You're not audible.
Ma'am, am I audible now?
Yes, you're audible now.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your question. To answer your question, we would like to pose that real life cases are given during interviews to understand your ability to empathize with people's perspectives and their needs. Second of all, we would like to mention that UPSC has a round of interview where we are offered with ethical dilemmas to understand our EQ more than our IQ, because IQ is already tested in the exams of mains or even prelims. Ma'am, I would also like to address that Team APS Nagrota, they mentioned about 12th Fail, a film that was recently released. So in that film, in the ending scene during the interview, the actor, he was asked a question that what if he does not become an IAS officer? He said, and I quote, that if he can't be the sun that lights up the whole city, he would still like to be the street light that helps somebody to succeed. Similarly, this shows how empathy and EQ is so much important in everybody's life, because we agree that yes, IQ is important, but without EQ, they both are actually interrelated. Without IQ or EQ, no one can succeed in his or her life. Thank you. Passing it on to the next speaker.
Thank you, Myra, and thank you, ma'am, for your question. First of all, I'd like to begin answering the question by quoting the example of the company Dialot. So, what Dialot company does, it has a system where it monitors the EQ of its staff and also checks how it can be done. They have introduced a 360-degree feedback system where the person can approach to them and give their feedback, and they can share what they think needs to be improved. And also nowadays in a lot of interviews, even in the interviews in a school, we find that there's a psychologist always in the panel of the judges who are asking the question in the interview. And we believe that the purpose of the psychologist who is there in the panel, it is to see if the person who's being interviewed, the interviewee, if he has the ability to, connect with the children on an emotional level, because teaching is a job which requires not only your IQ, not only your knowledge, but also the amount of emotions that you hold, and to be able to connect with the children on a higher level, on a deeper level. And also, ma'am, like in ethics bowl, we are giving situations where we have to possess what we have to discuss what we think is right on a humane level and what is emotionally right. Similarly, during interviews, the questions that are being provided to the person who's being interviewed, they also contain a real life situation where they're asked that if you were in that position, what would you have done? So that is also a way in which they can measure the person's EQ, and the person who's being interviewed, who he can answer with what he thinks is right, and that would show if the person holds the right amount of EQ or not. And thank you. Passing on to my next team member.
Thank you. I would like to state the fact that how 80% of HRs are women because they are considered to be more empathetic towards others. Other than that, means of non-verbal communication like eye contact or posture can be considered as means to test someone's EQ. Thank you. Passing it on to the next speaker.
Thank you very much. And ma'am, thank you very much for your question. And as my teammate quoted the 12th fail example, I totally agree that empathy shows when a person is an empath. It shows in what we do. It shows how we pursue success, how we pursue what is our character, how we pursue happiness. It shows in everything. And of course, the official companies also have their official procedures to see if the person has both IQ and EQ, as Google also values both EQ and IQ in hiring processes. HDFC banks also imbibe such system by which both IQ and EQ can be tested. NASA also values astronauts with high EQ for their ability to work effectively in high stress and team-oriented environments. Overall, in Delhi schools also such happiness curriculums are being imbibed so that students from a very young age can learn the importance of both intelligence and EQ, which is emotions, because they are beautiful and they are the bedrock of us humans. That is what makes us humans. And as Helen Keller said, the best and the most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart. Thank you very much. Passing it on to my next teammate.
Thank you so much, Ananya. And we would like to conclude our answer by saying the phrase, Latin phrase, dum spiro spero. While I breathe, I hope. This shows that while we are alive, we keep on hoping for a better tomorrow. And that better tomorrow can be created when we share our humanity, when we work together, when we connect with all of the humans on an emotional level, on a much deeper level, hoping and wishing for a better tomorrow by working together. Thank you.
That was a thought-provoking answer, I must say. Nazli ma'am, I request to ask you for a query.
So, amongst all the answers that the children replied, what I liked the best was when one of the girls said that eye contact, body language is one of the things. So, I agree with that. And also, it's empathy, awareness, how you handle the questions, how you answer them, all that matters. So, thank you very much. It was excellent.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request jury to Mrs. Reena Tripathi to kindly pose your question.
Hello, yeah. Very well put across points, Team B. My question to you is, how do emotional intelligence, which is EQ, and IQ, intelligence quotient IQ, contribute differently, that is the thing, to leadership effectiveness and interpersonal relationships in the workplace? I'll repeat it. How do emotional intelligence, EQ, and intelligence quotient, IQ, contribute differently to leadership effectiveness and interpersonal relationships in the workplace? Some points on these, please.
Team B, are you clear with the question? You will get 4 minutes to confer. After that, you are requested to present your answer, and your conferring time starts now. Lindy, your time is up now. Kindly present your answer.
First of all, thank you very much, ma'am, for your question. Now, to start off with our answer, I would like to talk about Lord Sri Ram, who is everything for a lot of people, including me, because I believe he is the perfect embodiment of the balance between both empathy and efficiency, intelligence and emotions. I believe even after facing a series of calamities and disasters, including loss of his rightful kingdom, exile of the forest, abduction of his beloved wife, he lost everything except that one thing, that was his morals and his intelligence. So, there is a Japanese proverb that goes like, the bamboo that bends is stronger than the oak that resists. So, emotional intelligence does not replace rationality, which should be there. It complements it. Passing it on to my next teammate. To answer your question about leadership effectiveness with high EQ, leaders with high EQ often understand and value diverse perspectives. They encourage team members to be more open. They create a safe space for experimentation. Pixar, known for its innovative films, is a prime example. Their brain trust process, or even junior members can voice concerns and choices about animation, which fosters a culture where diverse choices are contributed to groundbreaking films. Thank you. Passing it on to the next speaker.
Thank you so much. And thank you, ma'am, for your question. To answer your question, we found examples of some companies like TCS and Microsoft where they believe that a happy mind leads to more productivity. If the working space of a person, if it is managed well and it has been created in a very comfortable environment, it leads to more productivity. The same examples have been quoted by our team members, like they quoted the example of Microsoft, under Satya Nadella, and also Starbucks, where they created a very comfortable environment for the workers that led to a greater amount of productivity. Also, a few days back, I was on the YouTube, I was watching a person who is employed in the workspace of Pinterest. So there she showed how the workspace of Pinterest is. In the workplace of Pinterest, they have gyms, they have gaming zones, they have very light texture to their walls, which helps a person to relax a lot. They have aromas there, they have plants there. And all that together creates an environment that contributes to the person's productivity, that increases it by a great amount. So we believe that that is how in a workspace EQ can be promoted on a larger scale. It is not only on the emotional level, but also by how the work environment has been created. Thank you. Passing on to my next team member.
We know how IQ helps in picking the tasks perfectly, while EQ we believe is the glue that binds it together, the compass that guides us through the intricacies of human interaction. It is about enriching human connections. It is about providing everyone for a safe space, and fostering a supportive, productive work environment. True EQ leaders recognize and mitigate their biases. They promote fairness and meritocracy in decision making. We know the Pandavas were balanced body, empathy, and efficiency in their rule, leading to prosperity and peace in their kingdom. This is what we believe, that IQ and EQ both work in their own direction, both have immense importance, but that at the end, both are needed, and both are needed to be recognized and complemented with each other. Over to my next teammate.
To end our presentation, I'd like to quote Matthew Stepnick. The magic of teamwork is that it turns individual efforts into collective achievements. Thank you.
Very well portrayed, Team B. Now I request ma'am to kindly ask for your query.
Just one thing, like you have mentioned all different ways in which, um, like, if an environment is facilitated for people who are working or in their spaces where EQ can also kind of be fostered. But the thing is, like, intelligence helps you in, say, there's a problem. So intelligence helps you in overcoming that problem. And if you also have emotional quotient, so that will also kind of create a peaceful and a very gentle atmosphere for the people who are solving that problem. Yeah, and in these two, as it was rightly pointed, they are complementary, but difference is that intelligence is something like some. I'll give you a very simple example. Somebody who can, calculate 2 + 2 is equal to 4, and then whatever intelligence operations are happening there, during doing all that, if you are also kind, if you are also sensitive to other people's needs and create emotional bonds also, that is the thing in especially in interpersonal relationships and also workplaces. So very well put across. Thank you so much. This is just an added point. Thank you.
Now I request jury 3, Mrs. Garima Goel, to kindly pose your question to Team B.
Yeah, Team B, APS Udhampur. Indeed, I also believe this is an ethical dilemma in the society, that whether EQ is more important than IQ. But you very nicely presented that both are equally important to be successful. And it was very nicely mentioned in the case study also. If one person had high EQ, the other had high IQ. So both are equally important. But to sustain that uh, success, okay, and to bring a better tomorrow, like you only said in your presentation that how can better tomorrow be created. So to create that better tomorrow and for the sustainability of that success, can these IQ and EQ be developed in any individual if somebody is lacking? And if yes, then how? I repeat my question. Can EQ and IQ be developed in any individual? Your comments on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Team B, I hope you're clear with the questions and you will be given 4 minutes to confer, and after that you're supposed to present your answers, and your conferring time starts now. Indy, your time is up now. Kindly present your answers, please.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your question. Am I audible enough?
Yes, you're on.
Yes. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your question. We believe that EQ is not something that we are born with, but it is something that we develop with our life. And definitely, there are many ways through which we can boost our EQs. Like, for example, in US workplaces, there are many group therapies and meet togethers of staff and their bosses and employees to understand what each of them are feeling and to empathize with each other. Besides that, we can go for active listening. Understanding what other person is feeling enables us to boost our EQ by empathizing with them. Then we have keeping a journal. If we keep a journal, we know our strengths, our weaknesses, and we are very much able to, we are open to how others speak to us and how and what feedback they have for us. Secondly, we should be open minded because let's face it that not everybody is positive about us. Some people do have some negative feedbacks about us, and we do need to accept those to understand, to empathize with people and realize that where we are lacking and how we can boost it. Thank you. Passing it on to the next speaker.
Thank you, and thank you, ma'am, for your question. As my team member answered about how we can sustain EQ, I'd like to mention about IQ. IQ cannot be created, but it can be boosted. From a very young age, children who are put to solving jigsaw puzzles, Sudoku, and Scramble, they over time develop a very strong IQ, which helps them in the future as well. And here I would like to quote the example of the Greek hero Odysseus. Odysseus was a Greek hero who went on a journey, and during that journey, he had to fight a monster which was a cyclops. And during that fight, he had to use his IQ. And using that IQ, he pointed a ray of sunlight in the Cyclops' eyes, making him blind and then killing it. But in his EQ showed that when he was young, he learned very empathetically from his mother how to fight a fight and how, you can foster a sense of respect for the person that you're fighting against as well. So I guess that is a story that shows that a serious balance between EQ and IQ can help you reach balance, like ma'am, you already suggested, and that by sustaining it, you can even achieve greater heights. We believe in the phrase that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Passing on to my next team member.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your question. And we as a team believe that it is beautiful that you also emphasized on this part of the question. Because while we appreciate the people who are already intelligent, who are born genius, and those who are very kind, those who have love and those empathy, we often undermine those who are trying to better themselves. We often undermine the importance of small, consistent steps. We often undermine the thing that, yes, small things, small steps, if we want to do it, then we can do it and it can lead us to a brighter tomorrow. As Confucius said, the man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. So we as a team totally agree with this, that yes, with small stones, very big things can be achieved and big changes can also be made. In this, I believe there is a very beautiful philosophy, a very beautiful Japanese philosophy of Kaizen, which means change for better, continuous improvement. So we believe that in the beautiful journey of personal growth and self-discovery, we should embrace the essence of small steps and also the philosophy of Kaizen. Thank you very much. That is all from our side.
Very well answered, Team B. Now I request Garima ma'am to kindly ask for the query.
Yeah, it was very rightly said by the participants. And they said that social quotient actually is responsible for regulating EQ. and highly it depends upon the social quotient. Also, self-awareness is equally important for EQ. Okay, and if suppose we are self-aware about our strengths and weaknesses, then ultimately we can work on those, and that helps in actually developing these questions, emotional questions, and emotional balance within us. So, team Udampur, you rock, and all the best to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Very well said. I must say it was a fruitful and intellectual discussion of the day. Before we compile the results, I would like to thank each one of you for making this day full of enlightenment, cultivating thoughts, and enriching intellectual ethics. Now we have 15 minutes break for the result compilation. Before we go on a 15 minutes break, I would like to request juries of the day to send the results in judges WhatsApp group. I'm sure you all are eagerly waiting for the results of your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you for your patience. We welcome you all again. It is rightly said, if you focus on results, you will never change. If you focus on change, you will get the results. So we have the results with us. Now I request Secretary of the event, Mr. Sanjeev Kumar, sir, to kindly announce the results.
So Indrapal, I will request you were not audible.
Sir, I request you to announce the results, please, sir. Am I audible, sir? Sir, am I audible to you, sir?
You are still not audible.
Am I audible to other participants, please?
Yes.
Yes, you are audible.
Yes.
You're audible.
Sir, I request you to announce the results, please, sir. Now I request Secretary of the event, Mr. Sanjeev Kumar, sir, to kindly announce the results.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am very thankful, first of all, to judges for your valuable time and the insight which you have brought to the students to add on to their information. Thank you to each and every judges, ma'am. Dear students, as I mentioned in my welcome note in the morning also, that the true essence of this competition lies not in winning, but in the journey of exploration and understanding. With this thought process only, I'm going to announce the result, because you will understand this is the format of this competition, and someone has to lose and other has to win also. I will start with the score first. The score which I have received after the compilation of my team. APS Udhampur got 147 out of 150 and APS Nagarota got 151 out of 190. So it is very clear APS Nagarota has won the match, and congratulations to APS Nagarota team. Thank you, students, and thank you, teacher in charges, and thank you once again, judges, for their valuable time here. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Heartiest congratulations to Team APS Nagrota. Team B, don't lose your hope. There is always a next time. The prize of success is hard work, dedication to the job, and determination. That whether we win or lose, we have applied the best of ourselves to task at hand. I pay my regard to everyone present here and upgrading my path of learning. It was my pleasure to be with such highly intellectual minds. Team APS Nagrota, see you in quarter finale. Prepare well for the next match. All the very best. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, ma'am.
Congratulations to the winners. Bye-bye. Thank you.